The power of G will set us free. The power of G will set us free. The power of G, the power of G, the power of G will set us free.
What's going on, everybody? So this video is going to be a little bit different because this video was actually recorded in February of 2023. I recorded this video an entire year ago. I was going to re-record it, but I love the way that I was so passionate about what I was talking about, and I don't think that I could recreate that. And I don't want to try to force enthusiasm. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. And I hope that you like it. I hope that it's something that resonates with you, and hopefully it kind of explains my thought process a little bit more on the Stillman sisters. So I'd like to take a moment to thank our gracious patrons who not only support me emotionally, but now are supporting the channel financially. So this video would not be possible without them. If you or someone you know would like to support the channel through my Patreon, then you can find the link in the description below. You can find it in my bio as well. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe, and then leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Enjoy. What is going on, y'all? It is time. It is time. It is time. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. I am gonna say it. I absolutely am. You know that we go up for the Stillmans on this channel. We go up. We go up like we're going to the heavens. Their love lifted me up so high that that's the highest it can go. I love them. And so people ask me all the time, like, why do you go up for the Stillmans like that? They were just one-off villains. They were just ditzy. They, weren't powerful. They da-da-da-da. This is the thing that I go up for, besides the fact that a Power Ranger played one of the sisters. I love them because they just got it done, if that makes any sense. Like, when we think about villains who attack them or came after them or whatever, we can name a handful of demons or villains that were successful in their endeavor, right? And even some of the ones that were successful still weren't successful in the end. So it's like, really, Shax may be the only one who, gets any kind of real credit for anything. Now, with that being said, the reason that I say the Stillmans did succeed in their endeavor, they stole the identity of the Charmed Ones. They stole the powers of the Charmed Ones. And had they been a more cohesive team, they would have eliminated the Charmed Ones. I stand their potential. I think I stand their potential maybe a little bit more than I actually stand them, if that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. Because Mabel was the Prudence Halliwell of that group, and no one can tell me anything any different. Because when Mabel was like, that was a direct order, that is something that Prue would have said if that family was dysfunctional. They kind of were. But if the Halliwells, Matthews sisters, had been like on the verge of collapse, Prue would have been Mabel. If we're just gonna be 100% honest about the situation. Okay, let me calm down. Because when I talk about the Stillmans, I get very enthusiastic. I just love them so much. I mean, they showed us what witches can do. I mean, evil witches, of course, but they showed us what witches can do in that universe when they don't have any limits to what they do with their magic. My girls were transporting themselves. My girls were conjuring things. My girls wrote a spell for identity theft. They wrote a spell to see into people's lives. What? Are you kidding me? My girls were doing magic. Okay? This wasn't just like some, oh, I just learned that I'm a witch, and so I just wanted to say a spell. No. My girl said, listen, we have a knowledge of magic. Okay? We have a knowledge of magic. Now, writing spells may not have been their forte, but they wrote it. When my girl said blinking faces, blank and ho hum, I was like, okay, okay. We are putting words together that make sense together, but don't sound like they make sense together. But that's neither here nor there. When my girl said, grant to us the power of 3 and turn them into nobody, who? Who? Y'all don't understand. The way I go up for those women, for those witches, the true charmed ones. I mean, yeah, anyway. Okay. All right. So now that I have ranted and raved and gave you my like completely unbiased opinion, let's get into it. Because I think the Stillman sisters are actually fairly easy to do a rewrite for, because all you got to do is make them a little bit smarter. That's it. Like, they accomplished in one episode what multiple demons tried to do for weeks. So numero uno with what I would do to make the, Stillman sisters better. We're giving them a multi-episode arc. My girls are not going to be a hit it and quit it. They're not. I refuse to let them be a one episode thing, because the plan they had, and then even in the small amount of time they had to execute it, they still executed it. They just couldn't maintain it. Okay, let me calm down. Calm down. Anyway, so I'm giving them I'm going to say at least a 3 or 4 episode arc. I would probably do longer, because I have a main thing a main way I would rewrite them, and then like a secondary one. And the main way I would rewrite them, give them a multi-episode arc, but also make them smarter. I would have it be more of, I don't think I would necessarily have it be a step-by-step plan, just because I feel like they got done what they needed to get done, and they had obviously been watching them, obviously been keeping tabs on them. So I don't think you need to go back and be like, okay, well, it's going to take them till episode 2. I think you can still have them steal their identities in episode 1 and have them steal the powers in episode 1, and you're good to go. I feel like you can still get away with that. Now, the reason I think I would flesh it out a little more and give it more episodes is so we get a chance to see why. Okay, we saw why the team didn't work, because they weren't cohesive enough, right? But I think that what they could have done was presented them as a cohesive team, and then given us a few episodes to watch it crumble and see that there are cracks. Because I can't take them seriously, because I know they really don't even like each other. And then by the end of the episode, we know for sure they don't like each other. But if you present them as a unit, everyone serves a function, you're good to go. Because low-key, quiet as it's kept. Y'all know earlier I said Mabel is the Prue of the group. Quiet as it is kept, the Stillman sisters are a dumbed down version of what the Hallowell sisters could have become, because love Prudence down, but we all know Prue got to be the Diana Ross of the group, and then Piper and Phoebe were just kind of there. So I could see that resentment building over time, and them eventually breaking down and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now that's me going to an extreme. Okay, don't come at me. But I think that would work for the Stillman sisters, because what they could have done was introduce it and be like, okay, Mabel is the leader, right? Mabel is the oldest. She can conjure. She's the one who writes the spells. She's the one who comes up with the plans. Mitzi is the one who goes out and scopes people out, because, even though she doesn't really like people, she's the one who can, talk to folks and kind of get information out of them and stuff like that. And then Margot, whatever function you want Margot to serve. Not real sure. Maybe you could switch Mitzi and Margot's functions. Well, I still think there needs to be one that can scope people out. And I would say that's Mitzi because she's not quite as dense as Margot. But then maybe Margot can be the one who, maybe Margot can serve as like a POV character. And she kind of has like this feeling that things aren't right. You know, they shouldn't be doing this, whatever else. You can introduce that element to it. You know, she didn't really want to do this. She was just doing it because her sisters wanted to. You can rewrite them like that. And then, we watch them get the Charmed Ones' identities. We watch them get their powers. And so everyone goes on their own little arc, their own little journey. You know, Mabel does not want to be a mama. She tells Leo, like, you can take this boy. I don't want him anywhere near me. You know, we see she's struggling with trying to keep this up. Like, am I just going to close the club? I don't want to deal with this. I just wanted the magic. And then, Mitzi, I feel like I'd be okay with seeing Mitzi, like, fall in love with Jason. And, like, Jason starts to show her that she deserves more than what she's been allowing herself to get from men. And she kind of starts to go on this little journey of self-discovery and, forming a relationship with herself. And then Margot, working in Paige's temp job at the time, Margot is seeing how people are affected, and she's seeing how she can change people's lives and actually help innocents as opposed to hurting them. So what ends up happening is at the conclusion of this little arc, Mabel is over it. She's just like, listen, I'm finna shut this down, this club. I'm finna get this baby up out of here. And then we just finna start going on a vanquishing rampage, get our enemies out. And then we're gonna be the untouchable sisters. And Mitzi is like, I don't really want to do that anymore. I think I just want to live this life out. And then Margot is just completely against the whole thing. And she's like, I think we need to give them their powers and their life back. And then we just live our own life and just make that better. And so Mabel is like, what are y'all talking about? This is not gonna happen. I'm not gonna allow this to happen. And then Mitzi and Margot have this sort of like realization that they don't really mean anything to Mabel. They're just there so that they can complete her power of 3, and she has enough power to do what she wants to do. And am I villainizing Mabel? Yes, but I think in a group like theirs, it makes sense for there to be like a power hungry one who's just there to do what she came to do. I don't think that all 3 of them would come to a realization like, I want to be a good person. You have Mabel, who does not care about any of that. She just wants the magic. Mitzi doesn't really care about being a good person. She just wants to be a good person to herself. And then you have Margot, who is completely against all of it, and she wants to actually start helping innocents with the magic that they have. That would cause so much conflict, but it would be good conflict to watch. And then it would give the Stillmans a sense of humanization, so you can have a favorite sister. Because I feel like I feel like the people who like the Stillman sisters have their favorite Stillman. Mine is obviously Mabel. Mabel is my girl. Maybelline Stillman is my girl. But I think once you kind of give them more individualized views and perspectives, it makes sense why the team as a whole doesn't work, if that makes sense. Like, one of the things that always was the Charmed One's strength is the fact that they were so different. And they were so different, and they saw things differently, and at the end of the day they came together because they understood things just aren't black and white. But with the way evil works in the Charmed universe, it's just black and white. It just is what it is. And I think you could get away with characterizing them like that. You make them maybe not a bigger threat, but you make them better adversaries. And then, with you could even create some drama between Jason and Phoebe at this point, because once Phoebe actually takes her life back from Mitzi, Jason is like, you just seem so different. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he says, like last week you just seemed so appreciative and you were happy to see me, and it just seemed like we were connecting on a level that we weren't before, and now it just feels kind of like we aren't really on that same level, and I sort of feel a disconnect. And then maybe with Paige, you could have her see the good that Margot was doing or wanted to do, and have her be inspired by that, and have her say, I want to commit to being a full-time witch. I don't want to work temp jobs anymore. I just want to commit myself to magic and helping innocents. Same with Piper, is like, you can have her understand that there's more to life than just trying to make it day by day. Take the time to appreciate Wyatt, take the time to appreciate the club, take the time to appreciate those things, because you want a normal life, but in order to have a normal life, you're gonna have to maintain the elements of your life. So you can tie that back to them. There's so many things you could do with them. My second option for the Stillman sisters is to make them one of the primary antagonists of season 8 of, or whatever the final season is in this universe. Maybe you could have like the, what were they called? The no, not the, oh my god, what were they called? The tribunal. You could have them like somehow summon Melinda or something like that. And because the Stillman sisters are trying to contest the Halliwells for the power of 3. The claim is stupid in the Halliwells' eyes. Like, what are you talking about? We're the charmed ones. And the Stillmans are actually like cousins of a cadet branch of the Warrens or something like that. And they summon Melinda. Yeah, maybe it's not the tribunal itself. Maybe the Stillmans decide to summon Melinda, and they bring her back, and Melinda's like, well, technically the power of 3 was broken, and now you have a replacement in here. And then the Stillmans are like, yeah, our power of 3 hasn't been broken. And it's not because they're full blood sisters or anything like that, but because their bond has never been broken. It's still intact. It didn't have to be repaired. And so their power of 3 might potentially be stronger. So then you can kind of get into like, how would that even work? How would we transfer the power of 3? Do they get the book? Things like that. And you cause this inner conflict because the charmed ones are like, okay, look at how many innocents we've helped. These girls have never helped anybody. And then the Stillmans, and this is how you get around. This is what they should have done instead of the Billy and Christy thing. Then you have the Stillmans bring up what's going on in their lives at the time or past misdeeds. You have like them bringing up Phoebe turning to Cole. You have them bringing up Paige choosing Brody over her sisters. You have Piper only really trying to do magic when it suited her, or trying to get Leo back, or things like that. You could even bring up All Hell Breaks Loose, if we're being 100% honest, and say, well, they dropped the ball on this, and that's why magic got exposed, and that is why they had to make a deal with the source. And you can have them bring up the history of the show, and then now the resolution of it, I do think eventually, obviously, the Stillmans need to be defeated. Like, I do think they need to get the power of 3. I do think that. I think they will probably need to get the book. But I think the ultimate thing of that season would be that the Triad or Zanku or whoever the big bad of that individual season is was just kind of using them as like a puppet, to break the charmed ones down. And then you can get into like the Stillmans can't maintain it and the power of 3 reverts back to the Halliwells. But what this served in the greater goal of whoever that villain is was to break the sisters down and remind them of these these horrible, things that they've done, or the way they've misused magic, stuff like that. And you get the effect that, like, now the sister's, spirit is kind of broken. And, this villain swoops in and is like, all right, it's time, because now I'm coming for the Nexus. And because the power of 3 was just reverted to them, their connection with the book is a little bit weaker. And so now this villain is using that weak connection to steal the book from them. Do you see what I mean? Do you see the vision? Like, the Stillmans could have been a catalyst for so much story if they had just done what they needed to do with it. Yeah, we talked about a lot today. I threw a lot out there at you. I gave you a lot of information. I gave you a big scenario to think about. So I think that what we're going to do is go ahead and cut this video off. So if y'all have any kind of ideas or thoughts, you can reach me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, wherever, at They Call Me Mr. G. And I have a Discord now. I don't know if y'all knew that, but I have a Discord now. It's just basically a group chat from what I'm, kind of gathering. But it's fun. It's really, really fun. So, hit me up on Discord. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope y'all have a great week or weekend. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.
The power of G will set us free. The power of G will set us free. The power